Hey guys, it's me, MitchDowns11 here, and I'm back with another live stream for you guys today. And today we are playing Sakura Angels, and I hope you guys enjoy. I am going to get live chat for YouTube up and Twitch up and going, and then we will begin. Okay, there's that. There we go. Live chat is now going for Twitch. Okay, let's get this going, guys. Oh, okay. Return, start game. I guess we're starting over. Are you joking? Are you really joking right now? Okay, so if that's the case, then we're gonna have to restart the yeah. We're gonna have to restart that one thing. Dang it! At least it's 3 hours. Hey, how you doing, Mass the Beats? 5-5. How you doing? Every night, I have the same dream. Every night. I'm always brought back to this place without fail. I'm doing good, dude. How are you? And then every morning, I'll wake up with no memory of this place at all until the next time I fall asleep. Not a single night has went by without my consciousness being dragged into this abyss. This realm is devoid of light, so much so that I can't even see my hand in front of my face, no matter how desperately I wave it. Sorry about that. I'm gonna drink my root beer. Can I press space? I can. Awesome. The concept of sound is just as absent. My steps silent, and my distressed cries swallowed by the bordering darkness as quickly as they have left my mouth. I'm in a bleak, barren wasteland of nothingness. Spending my prolonged amount of time here begins to make me doubt even my own existence. Yet, despite feeling suffocated by a striking absence of anything, I know I'm not alone. Something is watching me, stalking me from the shadows. I can't say for sure what it is, but every once in a while, I'll catch sight of something from the corner of my view. A pair of burning, bright eyes fixated purely on me. They hate me, despise me, There's an overwhelming sense of animosity radiating from whoever they belong to. I know they want nothing more than to lash out and attack me, but something is holding them back. A force they truly despise. Invisible chains that bind and restrict them from the one thing that is on their mind. At first, when I began dreaming about this place, the eyes were distant, like glimmering stars. But with each passing night, the eyes seemed to inch ever closer and shine ever brighter. I think whatever force has been holding them from me is beginning to fade. What will happen when these eyes reach me? I shudder to think. I know it's just a dream, so hold on a second. So I shouldn't be afraid. But everything I experience here is so vivid. None of the usual murky haze that shrouds such dreamlike environments seems to exist here at all. I have perfect clarity. I can feel the stagnant, freezing air all around me, enough to incite a shiver out of me every once in a while. Since I'm so used to this dream, I know how it'll end. I'll wade through the darkness for what seems like an eternity, never finding anything until the morning finally comes and pulls me out of this nightmare. At least, that was how it usually ended. Something is different tonight. Those hateful, burning eyes, always kept just out of sight before. I'm suddenly confronted by them. Never before have they been so close. Never before have I stared straight back into them. Their narrowed, piercing gaze roots me to the spot, and a shooting pain surges through me. I can't move. I can't breathe. And then, from out of the darkness, a crooked smile spreads, just as sinister as the eyes. So close I can practically taste the freedom. Won't be long now. Enjoy the peace while you can, boy, for your days are numbered. And then everything shall change. I should probably turn off their voices, honestly. You know what? Their voice volume off. Ugh. My head is killing me. These morning migraines are the worst. Every morning, without fail, I always wake up to a sensation not unlike my skull being pounded by a jackhammer. Thump. 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 It's almost like a heartbeat. I feel like my head is going to split open. It's weird though, because even though the pain is so intense, it never lasts long. In the space it takes me to get up and head for school, the pain is usually reduced to just a dull throb at the back of my skull by then. So it isn't too much of a hassle in the grand scheme of things. But it certainly isn't a fun way to wake up. I just find it odd how consistent it seems to be. Anyway, enough pondering these weird mysteries. It's time to tackle the day. After a moment of wrestling with my blankets, I swing my legs around and drag myself out of bed. A quick look at my bedside clock tells me it's still early. Too early. If I had it my way, the world wouldn't start until at least a good way into the afternoon. But sadly, life just isn't that wonderful. Pulling back the curtains to let the light flood into my room, I suppressed the urge to let out a hiss, almost blinding myself in the process. Too bright. The rest of my time getting ready is spent fighting with my uniform. A tie becoming all the more problematic to put on when you're half asleep. Oh god, I think I've actually got my hand stuck in it. Almost choking myself to death in the pathetic fight, in the most pathetic fight ever, I finished putting on the tie. The rest of my uniform complying peacefully with me. Unable to find a comb, I settle for just flattening my hair down with my hands. Blinking into the mirror, I'm left staring back at someone with messy black hair. It's close enough. Somewhat dressed and somewhat ready, I stumble out of my room, my legs still not fully awake. Uneven steps carry me dangerously down the stairs, and I soon emerge into the kitchen. I'm greeted by silence. The kitchen is empty. A familiar scene to me. My parents are what you might call workaholics. Basically, they spend more time at their respective jobs than they ever do here. I only ever get to catch them during the evening while we're eating, and then everyone is off to bed and the cycle repeats. Don't get me wrong, I understand they have to work in order to keep us living comfortably, so I don't hate them for it. It just gets, I don't know, lonely. Oh well. There's no use moping out about it. It's been like this for years, so I don't know why I was getting all emotional about it now. The plus side of them not being around is that I quickly had to learn how to cook for myself. It's amazing how fast you can adapt to that sort of stuff when you're starving. I don't think I have enough time for anything fancy to eat for breakfast, so I'll just settle for toast. You can never go wrong with toast. Okay, you might be able to go wrong with toast. I have sudden traumatic flashbacks to when the toaster erupted into flames. Ah, what a day that was. But I've learned from my mistakes now. It won't happen again. Happen a third time. Having devoured the only slightly charred toast, I sling my bag over my shoulder before starting for the front door. I give the empty house one last look over before opening the front door. It's kind of depressing to have no one to say goodbye to. But again, this has been the same for every weekday morning since forever ago. The sun is shining high in the cloudless sky. Birds are chirping overhead. Waves of students are passing by, happily chatting with one another as they all make their way to school. It's also horrible. What the heck? It's not much of I'm not much of a morning person, so I can't even begin to fathom how everyone can be so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed right now. I mean, it's taking all of my willpower just to be able to put a foot in the front of the other without just crumbling to the ground. I just have to hope that the breakfast kicks in and gives me the energy I need before I am forced to literally drag myself through the school gates. While keeping my head down and my eyes glued to the ground as I soldiered on, I suddenly noticed the vibrant atmosphere from before is gone. Silence has completely taken over. My steps, the only thing making any noise. The air is still. Huh? That's a bit strange. Bringing my head up, I'm met with an unsettling sight. The street is deserted. No students, no cars, and even the cheerful chirping of the birds is gone. What? I hurry on forward, hoping to at least run into somebody. Anyone. Even the sun's once golden rays seem muted, the world tinged in dreary tones. But there still isn't a cloud in the sky. Okay, this is definitely starting to freak me out. I need to just... A splitting pain shoots through my head, stopping me in my tracks. Like a searing poker being thrust through my skull. A headache? Now? Nothing is making any sense. Desperately trying to keep myself upright as I clutch a hand to my head, I stagger forwards. Unlike the headaches from before that gradually died down, this one only seems to be getting worse. Thump. 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 It won't stop at all. I'm brought to my knees. I can hardly even think straight, my head threatening to explode at any moment. And then, through gritted teeth and a pained expression, I see it. Something that shouldn't exist. Yet, clearly it does, as confirmed by my own terrified eyes. A monster. That's the only word that can come to my scrambled mind. A hulking, grotesque mass of flesh, with gnarled fangs and red, slitted eyes, seething with hate. The closest thing I can relate it to would be a dog, but no dog I know of is 3 times the size of me, its form practically eclipsing the sun. It snorts with flared nostrils, something like steam being exhaled out. Given its tense stance and the fact it's blocking my way, I can only assume it's here for me. But why? What the hell is it? Where did it come from? Why does it want me? 1,000,001 questions race through my head, but I doubt I'm going to get any answers from this thing. There's only one thing I can do when presented with such odds, and that is to... let's see. What should we do, guys? Okay. Okay, guys, I started a timer for 1 minute, because that'll be the time limit for us deciding on, for you guys to give me an answer. And if it doesn't, I'm going to use ChatGPT to help me with this. Okay, that's a minute. Let's go ahead and ask chat GPT what it thinks. Oh, okay. Okay, so both routes are considered good. We're saving this. Because this seems like a really important spot. Seems like it's more important than I thought. Okay, there we go. We got our answer. Stand my ground, it is. Of course. I don't know what the hell this thing is, or why it suddenly appeared before me, but I'm not going to let it take me down without a fight. Ignoring the pain that threatens to consume my skull, I straighten myself up and stare right back into the hateful eyes of the beast. And then, tightening a fist, I lash out like lightning, my fist connecting with its head cleanly with a solid impact. Take this, foul beast! What the heck? Wham! Okay, no. Bad idea. That did nothing. In fact, it looks even angrier than it did before now. All I've managed to do is bruise my own fist. I hope I haven't broken anything. I reel back from my brutal attack, giving the fist in question a good shake. It still stings. Ow! Now what do I do? My blazing surprise attack was met with complete indifference, and now I think it's too late to run, as the creature is gearing itself up to for a charge. Its front leg digging the ground. This might have been a mistake. I try to turn tail and begin running, but the beast kicks off of the ground straight towards me. There's nothing else I can do. I brace myself as best I can for the inevitable bone-shattering impact. Right before the beast can connect with me and bring my life to a grisly end, a dazzling, radiant light floods my vision, engulfing both me and the monster. The beast stops in its tracks, and a guttural cry escaping it before it vaporizes before my eyes. What? What the hell just happened? Jeez, that was a close one. Are you all right? A cheerful voice chirps. A welcome sound after the terrors of that thing. Don't talk to him. We have to leave before. And then another voice that's less cheerful. In fact, they sound angry more than anything. The light soon fades, revealing my saviors. Oh yeah, dude. There's a way to... Oh well. There has to be a way to, freaking...
Self-voicing disabled.
Yeah, we don't want that. Let's see. X, Z, M, N, B, P, J, F. Oh. So that's full screen and windowed. Okay. Q, I think, is quick save and load, I think. W, E, R, T, Y, U, I, O, P. A. A is auto. S, D, G, H, J. J! Wait, H. It's H. There it is. Okay, there we go. And then, let's see. We're gonna do this. Boom. And that's how you take a screenshot on a gaming PC. Though, this is definitely the last thing I was expecting. Two girls, roughly my age, stand before me. And I blink several times before I scrub at my eyes, hoping things might make a little more sense. This can't be real. I'm having more trouble believing these girls are actually standing before me than I did the monster. Wielding weapons and costumes taken straight out of a fantasy book. It's all a bit much for my brain to attempt to process. What? What the heck was that? Kenta says. Kenta's main character, by the way, guys. A shadow? The more cheerful of the two simply says that to me, her stance relaxing some. Huh? Kenta asks. Was that supposed to explain everything? I glance down at my feet where my own shadow stretches, but the girl bursts into a giggle. Not your own shadow, silly, she says. That thing we just took care of, which you're welcome for, by the way, is what we call a shadow. The physical manifestation of all the hatred and negativity and negative emotions that might lurk in one's heart. Normally, they're not so aggressive during the day, though. It was really out for you. We're usually pretty good at nabbing them before they get to you, but this one completely took us by surprise. I'm happy we got here in time. You're not hurt, are you? No, I'm fine, but Kenta says. As if things weren't bad enough that we had to reveal ourselves to him. Now you're just casually blabbing away things that no normal person should have a right to know. Have you lost your mind? She says. I'm cut short by the more aggressive looking of the pair, whose expression had grown darker and darker as the cheerful one had spoken. Looking like she's unable to take it anymore, she exploded, causing both of us to jump. But he looks so confused. And now that he's seen one of the shadows firsthand, don't you think it's just a little too late for us to quietly slip back into the shadows? Her eyes narrow into a frightening glare. It's clear she isn't happy, but I don't think she has anything to counter that. See? You worry too much. We'll only tell him what he needs to know. Nothing more, nothing less. The upbeat girl brings her attention back to me, a sparkle in her eye. Right, so Kenta, where were we? Huh? We were... Kenta says. Wait. How do you know my name? Kenta asks. Huh? Oh. Whoops. She puts a hand on to her mouth as if to try and take it back the words. Oh my gosh, I'm sucking at reading right now. I was doing so well earlier. What's wrong? What's wrong with my reading now? Like, what the heck? Why am I stuttering? The question continues to pile up, and I still haven't gotten any answers. You idiot! Wow! The serious one wraps her fist against the other's head, who sticks her tongue out in a sort of tee-hee, my bad kind of way. So, you guys know me? Kenta asks. I've never seen them in my life. And given how they look, I definitely think I would have remembered them. Well, we don't know you personally, but we've been watching over you for a while now. You've become quite the point of interest recently, you know? Me? What the heck did I ever do to get such attention, so much attention? As far as I know, I'm just an average student who lives an average life, doing average things. Though after this, I guess I can't really call my life average anymore. Can't really go into details because, you know, top secret and all. But let's just say it's not in our best interest for you to fall into the wrong hands. You wouldn't believe how much effort we've been putting into keeping you safe, you know? Actually, I'm kind of relieved we finally get to meet, so you can finally appreciate all our hard work. She beams at me, leaning in perhaps just a little bit too close. She's throwing so much at me here, I can hardly think straight. Just who the heck are you guys? Kenta asks. She falls deep into thought, her nose scrunching up. I guess she's choosing her words carefully as to avoid another brutal assault from her partner. Think of us as your guardian angels, okay? Saying that, she gives her bow a flourish, and it shatters between her fingers. Moments later, the shattered pieces of the bow begin to gather behind her. The shards piecing back together rapidly until finally they form a pair of wings on her back. The wings, while not strictly attached to her, at least seem to function as the same way in the breeze and give off a glimmer every now and again. Wait, are they literally angels? Let me get this straight, Kenta says. To start from the beginning, that thing that attacked me, that monster, you call those shadows? Kenta asks. Yep, she answers. And these shadows have supposedly been hunting for me for a while now, Kenta asks. She responds. Because apparently, if they catch me, Kenta says, it'll be bad for unspecified reasons. Kenta asks. Yep, she confirms. Really bad. And you guys, whoever you are, have been combating them from the shadows to keep me safe from harm? Kenta asks. She nods enthusiastically. It looks like I've just about got a grip on what this whole thing is, even if it was a little sparse on details. Knowing all this, it brings me to the conclusion that... Okay, I'm going to give you guys another minute to help me decide. So, give me a second. Okay, 1 minute timer has started. Okay, no one answered, so we're going to chat GPT for the answer. Okay, we got our answer. That was way faster this time, chat. GPT. Also, I don't like Kimi, guys. It goes in too much of a process. In other words, Kimi is too much. So, I have no choice but to believe them, is the answer for this one. For me, of course. As crazy as this all sounds, I really can't deny the evidence before me. That monster was definitely real, and I have no reason to doubt these girls who destroyed that thing right before my eyes. Okay, so, what happens now? Kenta asks. Well, now that the shadows have gotten more aggressive, I really don't think we can go back to our old job of watching you from afar. We were lucky to just barely catch that thing just now, after all. Somehow I don't like the sound of that, or what it might imply. At all. So, we'll be parting ways for now, but expect us to be keeping an extremely close eye on you from now on, okay? Bye-bye for now. She gives me a wink and a wave before taking off in the other direction. Her less enthused partner simply turns her head from me with one last humph before following after her. I'm soon left completely alone within the street, where just moments ago my entire world had been spun on its head. Did all of that just happen? Oh, jeez. All of this will have to wait for later, though. Right now, I have to focus on the bigger issue. Being late for school. I break into a sprint as I try to make up for last time, all the while hoping that I'll never run into those two again. Somehow, I just about barely make it to class. It was a photo finish through the door, right as the bell went, but I made it. Taking a moment to catch my breath, I drag myself over to my desk, the teacher arriving almost seconds after I collapsed into my chair. Into the chair, my bad. Too close. None of the other students seemed too bothered by my late entrance. Though, at this point, maybe this is what they expect of me anyway. I have been pretty late at times, even missing the bell entirely some days. Mostly due to sleeping in. At least this time I had an actual reason for cutting it so close. However, after what happened earlier, I think it's going to be impossible for me to focus on the lesson. I'm beginning to wonder if I'll ever get an explanation for whatever the heck that was that just happened. And possibly tall creatures. Girls wielding magic weapons. No matter how I look at it, my brain refuses to accept it as reality. It goes against everything I know. I scrub through my hair, a faint headache still ringing at the back of my head. Being lucky enough to have a seat situated by the window, I let my gaze wander out. My eyes vacant as I stare into the clear blue sky. The teacher is doing his usual morning speech, no doubt talking about the upcoming events for our school, but his words are just a dull mumble in my ears, my mind miles away. Those girls knew me by name, and no matter how far I delve back through my memories, it's clear I've never seen them in my life. At least I don't think I've seen them before. I think hard. Maybe too hard. To the point that my eyes began to strain. Nope. Nothing. I can't recall a single thing about a single thing that might shed light on this. Defeated for now, I tuned back into the classroom while still keeping my sights set on the sky. The teacher's voice becoming clear once more. Now, I know it's a bit sudden, but as of today, we have 2 transfer students that will be joining our class. The teacher says. Transfer students? At this time of the year? It's a bit late to be joining, don't you think? Even the teacher sounds confused as he announces them. And not just 1, but 2? Why do I get a feeling there's something off about this? Almost as if it's tied into what happened earlier. Huh? No. It couldn't be. I'd like you all to make them feel welcome as they transition in, the teacher says. What did you say your names were? The teacher asks. I'm Sayaka. It's nice to meet you all, she says. I hope we can all get along. I bolt upright in my seat, my head snapping towards the front of the classroom. That upbeat voice. Is it really? Yep, it's them. Sure enough, 2 girls I never thought I'd see again are stood before me. In my school. In my classroom, no less, wearing the school's official uniform. The cheerful one, Sayaka, bows politely. Stop. Bows politely to the class, flashing me a grin as her eyes pass over me. What? What is this? The other girl is less courteous, her arms crossed and her brow furrowed. She doesn't look pleased to be here. At all. Her gaze passes over me too, but rather than a smile, she gives me a nasty glare. Is she blaming me for this? No, no. It sure feels like it. The grumpy one beside me is Hikari, Sayaka says. Go on, say hi. Hey, don't, Hikari says. Oh, she's blushing. Sayaka gives her a playful push, and she stumbles to the center of the classroom. Everyone's eyes upon her. She looks like she's at a loss for words, her mouth opening and closing as her face gradually goes red. I guess she doesn't cope well under the spotlight. I'm Hikari. Hikari says. She's not too sure. Nice to meet you all. She's being so quiet. She trails off into a murmur before spinning on her heel and storming her way back to Sayaka, practically hiding behind her. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? Sayaka says. Hikari simmers with silent rage, her hands balled up into tight fists, practically shaking. I'm sure if she wasn't in a classroom full of people, things might have gotten violent here. With their instructions, introductions over, the teacher motions them to take their seats. Wait a second. I only just realized where the only spare seats in the classroom are. One of them is and one of them is right behind me, with a window view to, and the other is to my right. So that means they'll both be sitting beside me? Actually, this is pretty convenient. I can finally ask them just what the heck they think they're doing. Sayaka, with a spring in her step, waltzes towards the desk behind me. Hikari stomps her way over and takes the other desk. I lean out from my desk and try to catch their attention, but I'm cut short by the teacher, who resumes whatever it is he was talking about before. Damn it. I don't want to get in trouble for talking during class. I'll have to wait until the break. That's 2 lessons away, though, which is practically an eternity. I swing back around to the front of my desk. I can't do anything right now, so I'll just pay attention to the teacher and... Alright, no. How can I pay attention to anything when 2 magical girls are sitting next to me? Sitting near me, I should say. Actually. But I want answers now. Drumming my fingers against the desk as the teacher continues to drone on, I try to think of a way around this. It's better I don't speak during class, so... Ah, of course, it's so obvious. I dig into my school bag and pull out my notebook and pencil. I'll just pass them a note. Simple and silent. It's a bit of an immature means of communicating, I'll admit, but I'm desperate here. I scribbled down my message. What are you guys doing here? I may as well get straight to the point. I tear the page out, almost ripping it in half in the process. Only one question is left. Who do I give this note to? Okay. You guys have a minute to tell me in live chat of who I should choose. If you guys don't give me an answer before my timer runs out, I'm going to have ChatGPT answer for me. Okay guys, timer has started. Okay, it's been a minute. Going to ChatGPT now. Okay, looks like we have Sayaka as the choice. Awesome. While it's going to be harder to pass a note to someone directly behind me without looking too suspicious, I get the feeling Sayaka might actually want to respond. Kicking back in my chair, I lean backwards and the slip and the slip and then slip the note onto her desk while keeping my eyes forward, as if I were a good student who was actually paying attention to the lesson at hand. At least, I think I managed to give her the note. After a minute or two of twiddling my thumbs, I began to lose faith in my plan. Maybe this was something suddenly taps my shoulder. The same page I had torn out from my pad before floating down to my desk. Success! Written below my own hastily scrawled, just barely legible message is one in far neater handwriting and occupied by a smiley face. Oh my gosh. We're here to protect you, silly. Protect me? Right. I remember her saying something about them being my guardian angels and that they'd be keeping a closer eye on me, but this is ridiculous. I scribbled down my reply, writing so fast I have to cross out a word several times before I finally get it right. Okay, I get that part, but do you really need to be this close? How did you guys even manage to get enrolled? Did you forget how close you were to being chomped on this morning? We're not going to let that happen again. And as for how we got in, well, let's just say we can be very persuasive. Oh my gosh. Who actually writes eh? Whatever. At least she gave me an answer. Somewhat. That was a pretty good answer in my opinion. Now that I think about it, the teacher did look a little confused as he introduced them. I'm guessing they wormed their way into here with whatever magic powers they have. That's a bit scary, actually. Magic. I use that word so casually. Am I just accepting its existence now? I guess given the evidence, it's a bit hard not to, but I'm still going to remain skeptical. The first lesson of the day goes on at an agonizingly slow pace. I can't focus on a thing, no matter how hard I try. After what seems like an eternity, the bell finally rings, announcing the end of the lesson. There's still another lesson to go before break time, though, which makes it impossible to talk with the girls, especially since the next lesson is PE, where the boys and girls are separated. Why is life so complicated? After reluctantly getting a change for PE, I'm soon in the schoolyard with the male half of our class. Much like the first lesson, I find it hard to pay attention to the PE teacher as he goes through our basic warm-up exercises. I followed the exercises just about with as much enthusiasm as a zombie. The rest of the lesson is sort of a blur, at least until some of the male students start to look towards the track field where the girls are. They're staring in amazement, some even rubbing at their eyes as if it couldn't be real. What's so amazing? What are you guys all looking at? Kenta asks. I'm also into the crowd that's formed, so I can actually get a look at the field. No way, Kenta says. The girls are running on the track, which isn't an amazing thing in itself, but it's who's running on the track that makes it such an unreal sight. Hey, that's a nice photo. That'd be a nice photo, I should say. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Thank you. I like photos, okay, guys? Deal with it. Sayaka is blazing across the track, practically a blur as she leaves the others in the dust. She's literally running circles around them. She doesn't look tired or exhausted at all either, save for the beads of sweat creeping up. In fact, she has a big smile on her face, clearly enjoying it all. As if it wasn't obvious before, these girls are on a completely different level. I'm sure she's breaking several kinds of records right here. The other girls in the group helplessly trail behind her, their expressions ranging from sheer confusion to envy. Some of those girls are, well, I guess were, now, the top of their class when it came to track 2. But she's making them all look like snails in comparison. I can't imagine how they must be feeling. Gosh, I can't imagine how they must feel being showed up by someone who hasn't even been here a day. I can hardly keep my eyes on her. She seems to get just a little faster with each loop she makes around the track. It won't be long now before she becomes just one big blur encircling the place. Is she even human? I'm seriously beginning to doubt it here. With this superhuman display, I think even the top athletes in this country couldn't compare to her. While Sayaka is hogging the spotlight here, there's someone missing in all of this. Her far grumpier counterpart, Hikari. If anything, shouldn't she be neck and neck with Sayaka? I scanned the ones trailing behind, but can't find her either. Just where... oh. Behind even the other girls being left in Sayaka's dust, I see someone dragging their feet, a sour expression on their face. She's just walking, her arms folded like usual. I wonder if her arms are glued like that. She isn't even trying. She must really have not wanted to enroll here. It must have been Sayaka's idea entirely. What are you all staring at? The teacher asks. Come on, let's get back to it, he says. Apparently, all forgetting we had our own lesson at hand, the teacher calls us back to reality, forcing us to reluctantly stop gawking at the girls. The rest of the PE lesson goes by without anything much of note happening. And then finally, the lunch break arrives. I spot the magic girls in the classroom, casually chatting away with some of the other students. Huh, I didn't think they'd be able to make friends already. Though, after Sayaka's little display earlier, she's probably the talk of the class. Oh, Kanto, Sayaka says. Hi there. She gives me a wave and a cheery smile, but I can hardly say I do the same. Okay, yeah, hi, Kenta says. Look, can we talk? Kenta asks. Sayaka asks. Go for it. No, not here. I mean, can we talk somewhere private? Kenta asks. Crap. That might have came out weird. I'm getting weird looks from everyone in the class. A few of them breaking into whispers and giggles. Even Sayaka is feigning surprise despite full well knowing what I mean. Oh my, this is a bit sudden, Sayaka says. Shut up. I don't know what to say, she says. Come on, stop messing around, Kenta says. I've been dying to talk to you, both of you, since this morning, Kenta says. Oh god. I made it worse, didn't I? I've somehow turned this into looking like one of those the most awkward confessions ever. Are you always this forward with the girls you've just met? Sayaka asks. She giggles, going along with the continued painful stares from the class. Yeah. Well, if she's going to be like this, I have no choice. This is going to make me look even worse in front of the class, but I need answers. I take a deep breath and to steel myself, and then... What? Hey, what are you doing? Sayaka asks. I grab her by the wrist, pulling her along towards the classroom door, whether she likes it or not. Given what I witnessed before, I'm sure she could have me flat on the floor if she was truly opposed to this. I think she's just messing around at this point, though. And you too. Come with me, Kenta says. Yeah, Hikari says. Who said you could touch me? Hikari asks. With my free hand, I take hold of Hikari's wrist, no doubt cementing myself as some sort of deviant within my class. Thankfully, they both follow along without too much resistance. Ignoring the brunt of Hikari's verbal abuse, I continue on to the doorway. I just have to find somewhere quiet where no one will hear us discuss this magic and monster business. The question is, in all my haste to escape the classroom with both the girls in tow, I crashed into someone who was already making their way through the door. They stumble backwards, looking slightly dazed. Thankfully, they don't look hurt. Ah, are you okay? Kenta asks. Sorry about that. I offer her an apologetic smile. Who is she again? She must be from my class. I can't recall her name at all, though. It's fine, she says. She speaks in a cold tone, her equally cold eyes locked onto my own, and an intense stare that completely betrays her words. Yikes. I guess she has a reason to be annoyed given my clumsiness, but this is a look of pure hate. Okay then, Kenta says. Confirming she's okay, I continue on with Hikari and Sayaka. They're protesting, mostly from Hikari's side, increasing in volume. I can't even begin to imagine what this must look like for people passing by. I'm sure even as I head for the stairs, that girl is still staring at me. Did I do something to annoy her? I mean, besides the clumsiness from today, of course. I can't worry about her for now. I have bigger problems to worry about. Namely, 2 big problems. One in each hand of mine. Emerging onto the roof, I'm thankful to see it's devoid of life. Safely walled by tall mesh fences, the roof is technically a spot students can spend their break at, but it really isn't that popular. Works for me. Okay, now can you guys explain this whole mess? Kenta asks. I release both of their wrists simultaneously. Sayaka bounces happily, completely unbothered, while Hikari, on the other hand, rubs at her wrist as if I had assaulted her. Next time, how about you ask before you go grabbing someone like that? Hikari asks. You're lucky we're in a public place, or I would have sliced you in two, Hikari says. Oh, this is exciting, Sayaka says. Is this gonna be one of those confessions I've heard so much about? Sayaka asks. What the freak? Eh? Hikari asks. Confession? She asks again. To who? She asks a third time. Both of us? She asks a fourth time. What the heck are they even? I shake my head. This isn't a confession, Kenta says. You know full well what this is about, Kenta says. I can feel my face burning up. It really is exhausting dealing with them. Sayaka gives me a teasing smile before bursting into a giggle. Apparently, this is the funniest thing in the world to her. Yeah, I guess so, huh? I know, Sayaka says. You want an actual explanation for all of this, don't you? Sayaka asks. I just couldn't help myself, she says. Thank you, Kenta says. I let out a sigh, my shoulders drooping. Finally. Finally. So, what did you want to know about first? Sayaka asks. Okay, we got 3 options, guys. I'll let you guys choose in the comment in the live chat here of which ones we select. And I'll give you guys a minute to answer. If you guys don't answer within that minute, I'm going to be using ChatGPT to answer for me. Give me a second. There we go. Timer has started. I like the music of this game, by the way, guys. It's real good. Okay, timer is up. And no one has answered from both live chats, so we're gonna use ChatGPT. I guess we'll go in order then. Okay, we'll do the first one then. Just who exactly are you guys? Okay, this should be an obvious one to ask. I asked it before, but only got the vague answer of them being my supposed guardian angels. I'm hoping she feels more generous right now, though. Well, I'm Sayaka, and this is Hikari, Sayaka says. Did you forget our names already, silly? She asks. I might actually rip my hair out here. I open my mouth to once more say that she knows damn well that's not what I mean, but it seems she's way ahead of me. In all seriousness, I'm not really sure how much I'm allowed to say, Sayaka says. We're already bending the rules as it is with showing ourselves to you, she says. I mean, really, this whole thing is a complete disaster, Hikari says. Why do you have to cause us so many problems? Hikari asks. Hey, it's not my fault, Kenta says. I think. Just be thankful you're so important to me, or we could have left you to get eaten by that thing, Hikari says. The realization of what she said slowly dawns on her. It was quite fun to watch her usual grumpy face gradually go red before she stomps in a fluster. I mean, important to us, Hikari says. Us! Smooth, Sayaka says. Sayaka giggles and gives her a playful punch on the shoulder. Hikari says. Wow, Sayaka says. Hikari responds in kind by giving her a wallop to the shoulder with nothing playful about it. Are these two even partners? Anyway, Kenta says. I try my best to keep things on track, though I'm sure it won't be long before it devolves into violence again. I think the most we can tell you is, Sayaka says. We're not from around here. Rather, we were sent here specifically to ensure your safety, Sayaka says. Do you belong to some sort of group? Kenta asks. Wait, are there more of you with these weird powers? Kenta asks. I might have said too much already, Sayaka says. She rubs at the back of her head with a grin that pretty much says, whoops. I probably won't be able to get any more out of her on this subject. For today, at least. Maybe if I catch her off guard another day, she might let it slip more. So, was there anything else you wanted to know? Okay, you know what? We're just gonna go in order for now. What was that monster? I want to know more about what the heck that thing was that they saved me from earlier. Shadow, I think she called it. I'm guessing there are more of those things lurking out there? Kenta asks. Sayaka says. And they're after me? Kenta asks. Well, in this particular case, they are, Sayaka says. Though, usually, they're not so aggressive. But they've always been around, lurking in the, shadows. It's really weird, Sayaka says. I've never seen one so brave as to attack someone in broad daylight. It was like something had gotten it really riled up. Or maybe she falls into thought, leaving Hikari and I to stand awkwardly exchanging even more awkward glances. Sayaka? Kenta asks. She snaps out of her stupor, blinking back to reality. Huh? Oh, sorry. Don't worry, it's nothing. What the heck did I do to annoy these monsters anyway? Kenta asks. It's not what you did. It's because of who you are, Sayaka says. Who I am? Kenta asks. Yeah, you're a blood. Sayaka! Hikari says. Wow! Sayaka says. Hikari? Oh, I don't even know anymore. Okay. Sorry. Sayaka is cut off by an ear-piercing cry from Hikari. Ow. I guess I'll never know. Know now. Hikari seems adamant about keeping this a secret. He doesn't need to know any of that, Hikari says. It's better this way. We'll sort out the problem at hand, and then we can finally leave this horrible school. You're no fun, Sayaka says. You're right, though. Sorry, Kenta. She gives me an apologetic look. She really sounds sincere, too. Like, she's practically bursting to tell me, but just can't. No use pressing it, I suppose. Maybe one day. So, was there anything else you wanted to know? Sayaka asks. How long are you guys going to stay here? This is an important one. Just exactly how long do they plan on staying here to watch over me? Sayaka pulls out a frown at my question, a genuinely sad-looking one that tugs at my heartstrings. Was it really that bad? It's almost like you don't want us around. Are we that much of a nuisance? Sayaka asks. Damn it. Why does she have to phrase it like that? That's clearly not what I meant, I think. It's just, as long as they're here, I'm sure there's going to be nothing but trouble in my life. Aw, come on. I didn't mean it like, Kenta says. She suddenly bursts into a bright, beaming smile again, almost blinding me. I know, Sayaka says. You're just easy to mess with. I couldn't help myself. This girl. She breaks into a laugh. One I'm sure she can, sure it can be heard by the entire school from all the way up here. We won't be here long, I promise, Sayaka says. Just until we've sorted things out. I guess you can't tell me what needs to be sorted out? Kenta asks. She puts a finger to her nose and winks. I thought so. Top secret and all that, Sayaka says. But we're in the process of figuring this whole mess out. It shouldn't take long. Maybe a couple of days. A week at the most. A week? Hikari asks. If it was up to me, we'd be gone by tomorrow. I hate this place. It's so noisy. Well, if somebody was more useful and helped me instead of just complaining all the time, we might get things done quicker, Sayaka says. Whoa, she said that without her smile faltering one bit. Her tone just as cheery despite the biting words. That's kind of scary. Even Hikari has no argument against that. Those words causing her to fall silent as she shrinks back from her deceptively brighter partner. Moving on. So, was there anything else you wanted to know? That's all for now. I guess that's all we have time for now. I think the bell for the second half is about to... Yep. There it is. Oh? Sayaka asks. Time to go back now, is it? She stretches her arms into the air, giving a small yawn. Well, I hope we're able to clear things up a little, Sayaka says. Something like that. Come on, we don't want to be late, Sayaka says. Sayaka bounds for the stairs as if we were in some sort of race, her partner trailing behind her as she gives me one last look. She stops, her eyes cast downward for a moment before flickering back up. Hey, Hikari says. What's up? Kenta asks. Nothing, Hikari says. It's nothing. And like that, she disappears down the stairs too, leaving me alone on the roof. Huh. I wonder what that was about. I guess I should follow after them. I want to be late again. As I start for the stairs, my stomach makes a terrifying sound. One that screams for food. Oh, right. In all my haste to figure out what the girls were doing, I neglected to get any lunch at all. Ah. And so, classes resume. After all the initial excitement in the morning, not a lot happens throughout the remaining lessons. They drag on at a glacial pace, somehow even more dull than usual. It's also hard to keep my mind focused on anything with Sayaka and Hikari on each side. There to protect me. I was half expecting a monster to just burst its way through the window, and for the whole place to just turn into a battleground. Though, it might have at least made things more lively. Oh my gosh. With one final ring of the bell, school comes to a close, a hazy amber glow taking over the classroom as the sun begins to set. The majority of the students begin to filter out of the class to start their clubs or part-time jobs. Not me though. I'm off home. While joining a club is certainly encouraged, thankfully this isn't a place where it's enforced. Meaning, I'm free to loaf all I want. It might make me come across as a bit of a slacker in the eyes of the other students, but they're not exactly wrong. Wasting no time, I set out of the school and began to head home. Something that should have been fairly stress-free, but I mean, I should have expected this, but it's still a bit much. The horizon grows darker with each step I make through the quiet streets, a pale moon slowly making its presence known in the sky. Thud, thud, thud. My heavy steps resounded down the narrow road, quickly swallowed into the night. But there's also another set of steps, or rather, two sets of steps that sound to either side of me. Far lighter steps with far more grace than I could ever hope to achieve. Look, I know you're here to protect me, but do you really have to be so, close? Kenta asks. Yes. Those steps belong to none other than my self-professed guardian angels. Sayaka to my left, and Hikari to my right. They practically walk in unison with me, their shoulders inches away from mine. Don't be stupid, Hikari says. Walking home alone at night would be the perfect time for an enemy to strike. This is where we have to stay on our guard the most. Yikes. She doesn't have to yell so loud right into my ear like that. I think I must be just a little bit deafer just from spending time with her today alone. Do you think I like having to be this close to you? Hikari asks. You should be grateful I'm doing this at all. Another humph and a turn of her head, her vibrant hair swaying gently. Right, Kenta says. Sorry. Don't be like that, Hikari, Sayaka says. Don't think I don't catch you sneaking glances at his face while he's looking elsewhere, Sayaka says. As she walks, Sayaka leans across me to smirk at Hikari. This is getting really awkward, guys. Hikari asks. You saw? I mean, I was just checking the enemy hadn't landed a stealth attack on him. Hikari says. That's all a freaking lie. We all know it. Sure, whatever you say, Sayaka says. My left ear is rocked by a mischievous giggle as Sayaka breaks into hysterics. All the while, Hikari's face begins to turn an interesting shade of red. Anyway, Hikari says, you're the one who keeps pressing your shoulder up against him. What are you trying to do? Huh? She was doing that? Now that she mentioned it, the left side did feel cozier for a time. I was just trying to keep him warm, Sayaka says. Oh my gosh. See, I care for his well-being and wouldn't want him to catch a cold. Oh my gosh. And he's not complaining, so he must like it. Without warning, she latches onto my arm, pulling herself in and almost sending me toppling to the ground. See? Sayaka asks. Hey now, this is... Kenta says. What are you doing? Hikari asks. You're going to tear his arm off. You have to do it more gently, like this. Hikari latches onto my other arm, hooking it with hers in an attempt to tug me away from Sayaka. What the heck did this turn into? Girls, you really don't need to... Kenta says. Sayaka says. No. That isn't how you do it at all, Hikari. It's more like... She pulls back on my arm, and soon they both have a firm grip on each of my arms. Determination across their faces as I become some sort of human rope. What is this? Tug of war? They're going to rip me apart. I don't even know. But please, Hikari says. This is how it's done. Do they even remember what they were trying to do? We started innocently enough. What started innocently enough, has now spurred into some sort of contest between them. They really are competitive. Ow! Now's not the time to think about stuff like that. Can you please get off of me? Kenta says. Raising my voice more than I've ever done in a while, I exploded. I explode. My body at stake here. And like that, they both let go of my arms at once, leaving me free to ensure they're both still fully intact. I'm glad they listened to reason. I really thought I was going to die there. Apparently, it's not the monsters I have to worry about anymore. It's these two. Girls? Kenta asks. At least, I had thought it had been my desperate cry that had gotten through to them. But they seem completely transfixed by something up above. What are they looking at? I squint my eyes and gaze high above the rooftops. And then, as the clouds part and the pale moonlight shines down, I see her. Sorry, we have to take a screenshot of every single one of these. They're just really good. I appreciate art, as you guys should know. A girl sits on the ledge of the highest point of one of the tallest buildings in the area. Silvery hair that seems to glimmer in the moonlight, and an outfit as dark as the night sky. She gives off an awe-inspiring look, almost angelic. Like some sort of angel gazing down from the heavens. At least, I would call her an angel if it wasn't for that unsettling grin that just now spread across her face at the sight of us. Ah, there you are, she says. She murmurs something to herself that I can't make out at all from the distance between us. Whatever it was she said, it was enough to make her shoulders shake with laughter. I can't help but feel that, like, I've seen her somewhere before. I wonder why that is. No matter how hard I try to think back, I can't recall her face at all, though. And a burst of feathers, obsidian wings unfurl from behind her. Now, those definitely aren't holy. I've got a bad feeling about this. Amber eyes peer down at the three of us, narrowed in determination as the same unsettling grin remains. It might just be my imagination, but I think she's looking at me specifically. I can almost feel her stare. It's enough to send a chill down my spine, and sparks a faint blush, a faint pulse at the back of my skull. A friend of yours? Kenta asks. I force out a laugh, though I know the truth. The air is growing tense, like that time with the monster before, and the looks on both Hikari's and Sayaka's faces can only suggest something bad is about to go down. Huh. Afraid not, Sayaka says. Kenta, get back. I don't like this at all. But, Kenta says, okay. I do as I'm told and retreat back a good distance, not really wanting to argue when they look as scary as they do. So, what do you think we're dealing with here? Sayaka asks. She seems far too human to be a shadow, Hikari says. But then I get the same feeling of dread from her presence. Ah, gotcha, Sayaka says. I think. Wait, so is she a monster or not? Sayaka asks. That's what I'm trying to figure out, Hikari says. If you would stop yelling in my ear for 1 second and let me concentrate. I'm not yelling, Sayaka says. Sheesh. Right, Hikari says. I forgot. That's your default volume. Well then, just be quiet and let me think things over. You're so cruel sometimes, Hikari, Sayaka says. The silver-haired girl, still high atop the roof, gives me one last look before turning her gaze to the girls. And then she jumps. What? Why did she jump? I can barely watch. She plummets downwards towards where my guardians are stood. No hint of even beginning to slow down. Are those wings just for show? Faster and faster she descends before finally the pavement closes in. I don't want to watch, but somehow I get the feeling she wouldn't have jumped without a good reason. At least, I hope she didn't. Mere inches from smashing into the ground, her wings spread wide, as if brakes, before bringing her to a sudden stop. Not even a gradual halt. She just comes to a complete grinding halt, as if the laws of gravity don't apply to her. Even with wings, something like that shouldn't be possible. I mean, if a pigeon were to attempt something like that, they'd barely be recognizable on the pavement right now. In fact, her feet aren't even touching the ground. She hovers above ever so slightly before stepping onto the solid surface, as if stepping off of an invisible platform. Part of me is relieved that she isn't hurt from that little stunt. But then part of me is also terrified as to what might happen next. The silver-haired girl stands before Hikari and Sayaka, her expression still as unsettling as ever. Despite the smile, though, there's nothing in her posture that would suggest she has any bad intentions, yet the other two girls are tense. My head rings just trying to focus on her, like that monster from before. Is she related to them? I clutch a hand to my head and try to steady myself. It's taking all of my willpower just to keep upright at the moment. Good evening, girls. She greets them so casually, despite the intense glares directed her way. Somehow, I get a feeling that she didn't leap off a freaking roof just to exchange pleasantries. Let's cut to the chase, shall we? Hikari asks. Who are you and what do you want? My, you're a hostile bunch, aren't you? She says. She lets out a devious giggle, doing little to ease the tension in the air. Very well. You may call me Yuzuki. As for what I'm after, well, her eyes flit from the girls and settle straight on to me, her smile enough to send a chill down my spine. I'll be taking the boy, if you don't mind, Yuzuki says. See, he's very important to me. I knew it. Of course she would be linked to this whole mess. Why wouldn't she be? Today is the day where everything apparently wants me dead. Sayaka and Hikari refuse to comply. I mean, of course they wouldn't. They wouldn't be very good guardian angels if they had just stepped aside for this maniacal girl. No? Yuzuki asks. I suppose we have to do things the hard way then, The pair stands tall before me, their fists tightened. I think there's only one way this is going to end up. The air around them seems to crackle, the amount of power contained within them all immense. I'm afraid to even take in a breath, in case I set something off. This is dangerous. Even I can see that. I blink and Yuzuki lunges for them in a flash, with a scythe seemingly torn out from the air itself. Wah! Sayaka says. Sparks fly from the collision of metal against metal. Hikari was just barely able to react in time, changing her outfit in a flash and blocking the blow with her sword. If she had been any slower there, they might not have had their heads still. I knew it, Hikari says. You're just a puppet for her. She speaks through gritted teeth, pushing with all her might to try and keep the scythe at bay as it draws ever closer. It seems like a fight she might lose, though, as the silver-haired girl presses on without even so much as a bead of sweat on her brow. Sayaka, Hikari says. Feel free to help anytime. Huh? Oh, right. Losing ground quite rapidly, her feet beginning to slide back from the force, Hikari barks at her partner, who had just about recovered from the shock of the strike. They really are in trouble here, and all I can do is stand gawking. I know for sure if I go anywhere near them, I'll be torn apart. This is a fight on a completely different level than me. There's another blinding flash as Sayaka transforms herself, wielding the same bow I had seen her use this morning. Okay, that's an awesome image. We gotta get that one too. Photo. Oh yeah. Boom. She dashes back a little from the clashing girls and preps her bow, pulling back the strings. I was about to wonder just where the arrow was, but one seems to blink into reality, already fully knocked onto the bow. She lets the magical arrow fly, target obvious. Caught up in the clash, Yuzuki had no choice but to pull away from Hikari. She kicks back gracefully, the arrow just inches away from grazing her cheek. About time, Hikari says. Hikari heaves a sigh of relief as she eases her shoulders, finally able to rest, if only for a moment. The fight is clearly far from over. The girls regroup and ready themselves, the mysterious opponent now going over them with her unsettling cold eyes. Be careful, Sayaka, Hikari says. She's strong. I was just barely able to hold her back there. Sayaka nods, a look of determination painting her face that I wasn't even aware she was capable of. Taking just a moment to analyze the situation, the dark girl closes in again for a second round. Ha, is this all you've got? Yuzuki asks. This is going to be far easier than I imagined. Ah, this is so much fun, Yuzuki says. And here I thought this boy's little guardians might have actually been a threat. Silly me. Shut up, Hikari says. This isn't over yet. She twirls her scythe with ease and swipes at the pair with the same maniacal expression. Each strike is either just barely dodged by the girls or just about deflected by Hikari's desperate counterattacks. This is a completely one-sided fight. If that wasn't already clear from the moment this girl had made her first move. She was able to take both of them on with no problem, blocking whatever attack Hikari might be able to muster in her position, and chasing after Sayaka whenever she attempts to make some distance between them for her bow. Fine, Hikari says. Let's see if you can dodge at this speed. Whoa. You're moving so fast now, my eyes can hardly keep up with it at all. The action eventually just turning to colorful blurs as the fight drags on. Battle cries and the clash of steel filling the air. The street around them is becoming completely wrecked. Lampposts are split in two, parked cars are being sent flying, and even chunks of the road itself are being chipped away every time they collide together. Without warning, the intense speed grinds to a halt. Sayaka is suddenly sent tumbling to the ground. Hikari surely falling as the silver-haired girl stands triumphant, not a single scratch upon her. Oh, more pictures. We shall have all pictures in this one. Wah, Sayaka says. Oof, Hikari says. They end up tangled in a heap together, both of them fairly dazed. Thankfully, they both don't seem too hurt, but they certainly each have their fair share of bruises. Are you guys alright? Kenta asks. Unable to keep myself from cowering any longer, I call out to them, taking a step towards the carnage. I freeze up completely as the silver-haired girl's hollow eyes flutter onto me. Her gaze is frightening, paralyzing. She came here for me, just like that monster did before. Do I have a sign on my back that says "kill me" or something? What are you doing, you idiot? Hikari asks. Stay away. We're fine, Hikari says. Hikari rouses me to my senses with a harsh cry. It's a bit hard to believe she's fine when she's completely tangled up with her partner, though. They're both flailing helplessly in an effort to get up. Is this my leg or your leg? Sayaka asks. I can't tell. Ow, Hikari says. Well, don't hit it. That doesn't solve anything. Oh, Sayaka says. So it was your leg. Okay, I get it. So, why are you still hitting it? Hikari asks. Just get off of me. Dang, you're so heavy. Heavy? Sayaka asks. Me? Yes, you, Hikari says. If you weren't such a glutton, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. It's not my fault I like to eat, Sayaka says. I think you're just jealous I can eat tons and get away with it. I've seen what happens when you pig out, Hikari. It's like you triple in size. Excuse me? Hikari asks. You're lucky I can't reach my sword right now, or I would... Ow, Hikari says. Did you just bite me? You can't prove anything, Sayaka says. You're such a savage, Hikari says. This is a complete disaster. With my supposed guardians still trying to sort themselves out, I'm left helpless as Yuzuki advances towards me. She takes slow, deliberate steps, almost as if she was enjoying the look of sheer terror across my face. Now that they're out of the way, Yuzuki says, let's have a little fun, shall we? Thump, thump, thump. My heart is going to rip out of my chest at this rate. I should run, but I can't. Why can't I run? My body isn't listening to anything I tell it at all. The distance between us is almost gone. Is she going to kill me? Why? Why me? What did I ever do to deserve this? I mean, as far as I know, I've lived a normal, peaceful life. The closer she gets, the more vivid my headache becomes. The air around me is heavy, suffocating. Even the simple act of taking in a breath is becoming too much for me in this state. Her amber eyes narrow. She tightens her grip on her scythe. What? Why are you... Kenta says. Oh, it's nothing personal, Yuzuki says. This is just the way things have to be if I ever want to get my life back on track. Now, say goodnight. She lashes at me like lightning, a clear intent to kill. Can't even lift my arms to try and defend myself. It's over. Right before the wicked blade comes into contact with me, a bright bolt of what I can only assume is magic whizzes in from the side and catches the girl off guard, knocking her off balance and prolonging my life for just a little while longer. Looking back over to what was once a disaster, it appears that Hikari and Sayaka are finally back on their feet. Sayaka has her hand outstretched, palms of smoke rising from the tips of her fingers. I guess I owe her one here. That was too close, Sayaka says. I think it's time for a tactical retreat. Wouldn't you agree? Eh? Hikari asks. Are we really just going to run? I can still fight. Oh, shush, Sayaka says. You can barely stand. Come on. While our opponent is still reeling from the attack, my saviors take this opportunity to dash towards me, each of them hooking an arm around me as their weapons shatter into crystals and begin reforming into familiar wings upon their backs. Well, wait, what are you guys doing? Kenta asks. Hold on tight, okay? Sayaka asks. Before I can protest any further, they both kick off the ground and we begin to ascend. Up. Into the air. We're flying. We're actually flying. What? Kenta asks. Hey, no, put me down. Couldn't we just run? Quit thrashing about, or we might drop you, you idiot, Hikari says. I will do no such thing, Kenta says. This is insane. I think I'm going to puke. Hey, don't you dare, or I will make you wish you were still back down there with that freak of a girl, Hikari says. We continue to trail through the sky, bursting through the clouds as if it were nothing. The wind roaring past me, the glimmering city lights below, the turbulence from being carried by the pair. It's all so nauseating. I really don't know if I can stand much more of this. Do you think we lost her? Sayaka asks. Slowing to a gentle hover, and keeping me firmly in their grip, I hope at least. They throw a glance over their shoulders, only just now being able to catch a breath. I think so, Hikari says. I can't believe we had to flee. Hey. We didn't flee, okay? It was a tactical retreat, Sayaka says. Call it what you want, but we were lucky to keep our heads intact back then. Silence takes over the pair as they fall into thought. So, Kenta says. Huh? Sayaka asks. Kenta? Oh, I almost forgot about you. Sorry. That's a bit worrying, considering you're the only thing keeping me from falling to a painful and gruesome death. You're not hurt, are you? Sayaka asks. No, I'm fine. Just, can you maybe, I don't know, put me down now? Kenta asks. Right, Sayaka says. I think it's safe now. Down we go. We begin to descend from out of the clouds, and it isn't long before my feet finally comes in contact with the ground again. The safe, wonderful ground. I have to restrain myself from wanting to kiss it. I collapse onto my knees, my stomach heaving. Never again. Flying just isn't for me. You okay there? Sayaka asks. Sayaka gives me a solid pat on the back, which does little in the way of helping my stomach. Don't... Sayaka asks. I can barely get my words out after such a traumatic experience. I take in a deep breath and try again. Don't ever do that again, Kenta says. At least without asking if it's okay first. It was an emergency, you wimp, Hikari says. Hikari takes her turn to pat me on the back, though it's more of a thump than anything, like a punch. Do you think I enjoyed having to hold onto you for that long? Hikari asks. Okay, I get it. Just no more patting. Sayaka circles around and bends forward to look at me, concern across her face. Whoa! I don't think I've ever seen someone's face go so green before, Sayaka says. Not a big fan of flying, I guess. Whatever gave you that idea? Kenta asks. I take a moment before finally straightening myself up. Okay, I think I'm good now. While I was recovering, it looks like Sayaka and Hikari were keeping guard, watching deep into the night for any signs of life. But it looks like they weren't bothered enough to pursue. Weird. Okay, so I know all I've pretty much done is ask you guys questions since we've met, but if you're wondering who that creepy girl is, I honestly have no idea, Sayaka says. Are you sure? Kenta asks. She looks like one of you. You know, with the magical outfit and the wings. Whoops. Might have said something wrong here. They both turned to me, fire in their eyes. Even Sayaka, who I thought was pretty easygoing, seems angry at me here. Did you just compare us to that? Hikari said. That thing? I didn't mean to. There's a world of difference between us. And whatever the heck she was. For one, did you not see her eyes? Hikari asks. She's completely insane. There wasn't a hint of sanity left. Hikari wraps her arms around herself to fight off a shiver. Just thinking about her creeps me out. I guess looking at it from your perspective, Kenta, she might seem the same as us, Sayaka says. With her general look and how her magic seems to work. But everything about her is twisted. The dark shades, the black wings, even those horns. It's like they set out to become a complete opposite of what we are. Nothing about her power seems natural either. And your power is? Kenta asks. Of course, Sayaka says. We worked hard to get to where we are today, you know? It's not like we were just born like this. With her, though, it's like it was just... She falls silent, deep in thought. Man, I really don't get any of this. All I know is that apparently those monsters aren't the only thing I have to fear now. Apparently done thinking, Sayaka snaps back into reality and grins. I think we've had enough excitement for one day, anyway. How about we get you home now? She reaches out to take a hold of my arm, but I'm one step ahead and jump back. I can already tell what she had in mind. No more flying, Kenta says. We'll walk, okay? Walk. Aw, Sayaka says. If you're sure. It's much safer in the skies, though. Like hell it is. I was lucky I didn't have a heart attack when they were dragging me through the clouds like that. Completely shattered after all the events of today, we start the journey back home. It isn't long before we arrive back at my house. And I can happily say we ran into no more monsters or crazy scythe-wielding girls along the way. I can't believe I even have to take them into consideration now. What has my life become? Reaching the front door of my house, however, I'm posed with a problem. These two girls insist on protecting me, and we're just about to follow me straight into my house before I realized they were still there. Somehow, I get the idea my parents might be opposed to me bringing in two complete strangers. Girls at that. Plus, that would just lead to a whole new line of questions from them. And I'd rather not get them involved into this mess too. So it took a while and a lot of negotiation, and I really mean a lot. I was pretty much on my knees at one point, but I was able to persuade them that I would be perfectly safe in my house. They finally withdrew for the night, giving me some much needed room to breathe. They did say they wouldn't be too far away though if I ever needed them. And that worries me. I closed the front door and almost collapsed against it with a drawn out sigh. Any borrowed strength I might have had up until this point drained from me completely. What a day, Kenta says. My head aches. My arms throb. My legs feel like they're about to give way. I can't believe I'm even still standing after all that. The smell of food is heavy in the air, the aroma enough to make my mouth water. Oh, right. I think I had forgotten to eat today. I should probably fix that if I want any chance in surviving what tomorrow might bring me. Apparently, I'm just in time, as the food is all set on the table, with my parents about to dig in. This short window of time in the evening is really the only chance I ever get to see my parents outside of the holidays. So I usually cherish these dinners and try to engage with them as best I can. But today I can hardly even get a word out. I sort of just grunt in their direction before I collapse into the dining chair. As the meal goes on, the usual questions come up between us, such as how our days had went, and if I had been up to much. Despite looking completely shattered, I say it was just like any other day. I get concerned looks, but they don't have any reason to doubt me. Before long, dinner is finished, and after several extra helpings, I can't think of anything better to do than to call it an early night. I make myself excused and head to my room, my steps unsteady. I drop onto my bed, face first, the mattress giving out a groan. I can't be any later. It can't be any later than 9 p.m. and already I want to sleep. Is every day going to be like this from here on out? I hope not. While I could just as easily fall asleep in the current position I'm in, there's probably a good risk I might suffocate, so I guess I might as well do things the proper way, if I have to. I push up off the bed and go to close the curtains. Maybe I already fell asleep. As I went to close the curtains, my eyes are drawn to an amber glow down in my garden. A fire. A campfire, to be precise. I'll give you 3 guesses as to who that campfire belongs to. Yep. The 2 magical girls. Sayaka and Hikari seem to have taken it upon themselves to set up a little base camp in my back garden, complete with a tent and fire. I guess when they said they'd be close by, they really meant close by. I think they're trying to cook something, going by the pan over the fire. I didn't realize their lives were so rough, with how glamorous they generally look. Oh, they saw me. Sayaka gives an enthusiastic wave my way, taking her eyes off the pan. Yeah, okay, hi. I give a feeble wave back. Somehow I get a feeling I should be worrying about this for more than I am. But, whatever. This can wait until tomorrow. I draw the curtains shut, right as whatever Sayaka was cooking in the pan ignites into a tremendous fire. I can just about hear Hikari's cry of terror through the window panes. Laying out a final mighty yawn, I plop backwards onto my bed, and it's not long before whatever semblance of consciousness I might have had left drifts into the night. Streams of light filter in from the curtains, rousing me from out of sleep that I wanted to last forever. I have half a mind to just turn over and wrap myself tighter in my blanket, but I guess I have enough to worry about right now without adding being late to school on top of everything else. Let's tackle the day, I guess. I roll out from under the covers and crash to the floor with the grace of a sloth. Ow. On top of everything else still aching from yesterday, my head thumps once more, right on schedule. I really wish it'd cut me a break. Just this one time. Starting from a crawl along the floor and gradually pulling myself up into a walk as if I was evolving in real time, I tugged the curtains open. Huh? I looked down at the garden to find it completely empty. Not a trace of a fire, the tent, or the girls. Maybe I really was dreaming last night. I mean, they couldn't really be as stupid as to camp in plain sight like that. The fire alone would be enough for the police to be brought down. That's one less thing for me to stress about, at least. Thank God. Right. I better not waste any more time, or I'm going to miss my chance to have a proper breakfast like yesterday. Pulling at the dust on my eyes, I start for the bathroom. Oh gosh. I know how this goes, guys. Okay, fair warning, guys. This is definitely not. It's not gonna show anything too crazy, at least in my opinion, personally. But if you guys aren't used to anime those crazy anime scenes that come up every now and then you might want to get off and get off for a bit and then join back later if you want to continue listening to the story. If you guys are fine with what is about to occur, then continue watching. A nice hot shower should do wonders. I pull open the door to the bathroom and you guys better be prepared for this. What? Hold on a second, guys. What's this one? There we go. Perfect. Anyways, what? The bathroom is occupied. What the heck are you gawking at? Hikari asks. Close the door. Sorry, my bad, Kenta says. I slam the door back shut, my heart an erratic mess. That was a close one. Wait a second. Something isn't adding up here. I swing the door open again, the sight taking away my breath once more, even though I already knew what to expect. Ah! What are you doing now? Hikari asks. You pervert! I knew it! It is Hikari! And, rather undressed Hikari at that. She's caught like a deer frozen in headlights, her entire body tensing up in a near statuesque pose. She's down to her rather extravagant underwear, if you don't count the socks she was in the process of taking off. Huh, they match in everything. With how she's bent forward like this, my eyes can't help but gravitate towards her ample... Kenta, Hikari says. Huh? Kenta asks. I'm snapped out of whatever daze I might have been in by her shrill tone. What? What was I doing again? What are you doing? Shut the door already, Hikari says. Wait. Kenta says. Should I be asking you what you're doing in my house? Kenta asks. What does it look like, genius? Hikari asks. Now go away. Her face is beet red. She's practically trembling with anger, though still frozen in place. But how am I the one at fault here? Hey, now don't get mad at me, Kenta says. I don't remember ever giving you guys permission to freely use my house. Especially not the shower. Close the door, Hikari says. Not until you close the door, Hikari says. Okay, but can you just, Kenta says. Her eyes give off a dangerous glow, the room rumbling ever so slightly with a frightening power. I guess this can wait until afterwards. If I want to keep my house intact, at least. Okay. My bad. Really. Flashing an apologetic smile and laughing nervously, I bring the door to a close once more. As demonstrated last night, sometimes retreating is the best course of action. Well, after that little situation, I find myself downstairs, both of the girls present. Sayaka has the same cheerful grin as ever, while Hikari looks like she wants to grab the nearest sharp object she can find and gut me with it. Again, that wasn't my fault. How was I supposed to know? So, do you guys want to explain yourselves? Kenta asks. She tilts her head, giving me a confused look. Oh, come on. How can I be the only one to find something strange with this? Well, I mean, what are you guys doing in my house? Kenta asks. Using my things. Oh, that's simple, Sayaka says. Since we've been watching over you for a while now, we noticed that your parents always seem to leave really early in the morning, and that you're the only other one that lives here, Sayaka says. So we figured it'd be fine if we just, let ourselves in to borrow the shower and stuff. So you pretty much just broke into my house, Kenta says. That's a bit of an extreme way to put it, Sayaka says. We made sure to fix the window, Oh my god. You did what? Kenta asks. I quickly throw a glance about, looking for any windows in sight. No trace of a break-in, at least. Jeez, what did they do? Throw a brick through one? I thought people who knew magic would be more subtle. See? Sayaka says. All good. She tries her best to reassure me with her limitless optimism. Her hands on her hips with a blinding smile. I can't say I mirror her enthusiasm, though. I bring a palm to my forehead, a headache beginning to set in. And for once, I know the cause of this one. Is this really necessary? Can't you guys just, magic yourselves clean or whatever? I get cold stares from both of them. I said the wrong thing again, didn't I? Kenta, our magic isn't just some convenient tool we can use so carelessly in our everyday lives, Hikari says. Hikari finally speaks up again, having got over her mini sulk. It takes a lot of energy just to even do something as simple as fly, Hikari says. And we always need to make sure we have energy in reserve in case of surprise attack, in case of a surprise attack like last night. Do you really think it'd be a smart idea to waste that precious energy on something that could be done so easily with an actual shower? Fair point. But what I'm getting out of this is, so what you're saying is you could use magic yourselves. You could magic yourselves to clean. Her eyes narrow. She takes in a deep breath, her cheeks puffing out dangerously. What? Why do I suddenly fear for my ears? You're an idiot, Hikari says. She sighs instead, the air escaping her in one long, drawn-out breath of defeat. My eardrums are safe for another day. Phew. I catch a glance at the clock on the wall. All this drama has really eaten into my free time before school. If I don't start breakfast now, there'll be no way I'll make it in time. You guys do whatever then. I'm going to make some food. I start for the kitchen, but Sayaka cuts me off, sliding in front of me. Her eyes are almost sparkling as she leans forward. Oh, you don't have to worry about that. Let us make breakfast instead. Consider it our way of saying sorry for this little mess. Right, Hikari? She pulls Hikari in by the arm. What? Hikari asks. I didn't agree to... Right, Hikari? Sayaka says. She tightens her grip on Hikari's arm, a deadly edge behind her otherwise cheerful words. Ow! Okay, Hikari says. Letting them cook. I'm not so sure. Okay. You guys get 1 minute to choose which option we decide to choose, okay? 1 minute. Okay, timer has started. Okay, let's see. No one has commented for me to choose something on Twitch side, nor on YouTube side. Okay, we're gonna use ChatGPT then. Alright, this one is a tone plus commitment check. Okay, looks like we got our answer. What's the worst that could happen? I don't see the harm in it, I suppose. She seems to mean well, and it would be nice to take it easy after all the stress. Sure, Kenta says. Go for it. Sayaka beams, making me feel confident in my choice. I think. You won't regret it, Sayaka says. You just sit back and we'll have something amazing whipped up for you in a flash. With that, she spins on her heel and waltzes into the kitchen, dragging along with her a very reluctant Hikari. I take a seat in the connected dining room and ease myself into a chair. This'll be fine, right? It starts off well enough, anyway. I hear plates and utensils clatter about, with cupboards doors battering along. Do you even know what you're making? Hikari asks. We'll worry about that later, Sayaka says. Now put some more of this stuff in too. I'll pretend I didn't hear that. The frantic chopping of vegetables and a sound out from behind me, mixed with Hikari's panicked yelps. Watch where you're swinging that thing. You're going to take my head off, Hikari says. It's fine, Sayaka says. Are you sure that goes with that? Hikari asks. Sure it does, Sayaka says. I have a creative eye for these things. Is it supposed to go green? Hikari asks. Sayaka says. So we just put this on like this? Hikari asks. I hear the unsettling whoosh of flames. Just how high are they putting it on at? What do you think this stuff is? Sayaka asks. I have no idea, Hikari says. Oh well, it goes in anyway. What the heck are they doing? Things go silent in the kitchen. I can't tell if that's good or bad. I'm too scared to look. Is this really okay? Hikari asks. Yep, Sayaka says. This is how it's supposed to... Wah! Sayaka says. Something explodes in the kitchen. Thick plumes of acrid smoke waft into the dining space. Put it out, quick! It's going to spread, Hikari says. How do I do that? Sayaka says. I don't know, Hikari says. Just try this. Boom. The aura flames. I can see the flickering of amber in my peripheral vision. Nope, Sayaka says. That made it worse. How about this? Hikari asks. Maybe, Sayaka says. It might have worked. Or not. No more magic, okay? This time we'll work for no more magic. I don't know what else to do then. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what are they doing? You're getting it everywhere. I hear water splash. A good deal of it. Like an entire bucket's worth of the stuff. Is it over? Kari asks. I think so, Sayaka says. And look, the food is done. I don't really think that's... Hikari says. I said, the food is done, Sayaka says. What did we just freaking hear? What did we just freaking witness? Jeez. Apparently done cooking, the pair enter the dining space. Sayaka has a plate in her hand. A good amount of steam, or maybe smoke, drifting from it. I hope you're hungry, Kenta. Sayaka says. Oh gosh. We really went all out to make this, you know? Yeah, we could tell by you guys panicking and yelling in the kitchen. She puts a plate before me, a sincere smile on her face. I guess she really gave it her all. But this can't be called food. Oh, Kenta says. It's, charred, burnt, crisp remains of what might have been food at some point sit on the plate. Feels like it might be hazardous to even breathe in this stuff. I can see Hikari lurking further back, clearly ashamed of whatever substance they have created. I guess this is my fault for letting them anywhere near the kitchen. I should take responsibility and... Oh, we got another option here, guys. I'll give you guys one more minute for you guys to help me decide on what we do. And if you guys don't decide in a minute, ChatGPT will decide for me. Minute timer has started. Here we go. Okay. You guys haven't said anything in the comments about what I should choose, so we're going to use ChatGPT to choose for me. Okay, we're choosing to eat the food then. I have no choice, do I? I don't want to make her feel bad after she worked so hard to create whatever this is. Here I go then, Kenta says. I give the substance a poke. It crumbles into a fine powder at the slightest touch. Okay. I'm sure even though it looks absolutely terrifying, it can't be that bad. Maybe there's something good under all these layers of burnt stuff. I scoop up as much as I can that doesn't crumble away from my hold and force it into my mouth, despite all my instincts screaming at me not to. It's... Well, is it amazing or what? Sayaka asks. Sayaka leans in expectantly as I swallow it down. I think this must be what charcoal tastes like. I fight back the urge to choke and give her a smile and a nod. Kenta says. Really? Yay, I knew it, Sayaka says. You should let us cook for you every morning. Oh no. Oh god. What have I done? I still have an entire plate of this stuff left. These girls are clearly the real danger to my health and well-being right now. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Hold on. Let's go ahead and save this real quick. Save. We'll put in slot 2. Slot 1 doesn't get messed with because we can come back to that for like a season 2 part 2, I guess, for the series. Because that second option there takes us on a completely different route apparently. So let's go ahead and into here. We'll go to main menu. Yes. And then we'll quit. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the live stream. Hydrate. Ha, yes. I've been drinking water this whole time, so don't worry. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. If you guys did and you guys are watching from Twitch, make sure you guys you follow me. If you guys are watching from YouTube, make sure you guys put a like, subscribe, dingle the bell notification icon, and I will see